Harper, show us how you can go across your pole. Whoa, you're floating away. All right, so we're gonna mess out here with the car some. We got the Tahoe out of here, and we are going to go through a lot of this stuff that Chris sent back with me. Me and Chris talked for maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes at his house about electrical. A lot of it was just him showing me a lot of the stuff. So, you know, some of it. So I still have not looked underneath the car. Haven't really. I looked under the hood with him when he's there. He didn't really do much under the hood because if you remember in the previous episodes, we already had everything, you know, from the harness that was ordered for the actual car, where it was just all plug and play for the Coyote. So for the Holly, a lot of it's plug and play, and then you just have to wire all your inputs and outputs and make everything run. So we're gonna kind of today, what we're doing is, I have a list, of course, of still things that need to be done to the car, but we're kind of just gonna regroup, figure out where we are after electrical, and now there are some steps that we can get closer to doing. But we can build that patch panel for where the wires come through the center underneath the dash. We could build that, get that in, and then after me and Mike do the mid plate, I guess we could put the dash back in, the lower, because believe it or not, y'all haven't even seen that there's a dash piece that goes in the bottom with the AC vents and the glove box. I have all that's going back in the car. So it'll have a glove box and everything because it's a street car, of course. So while I actually had the buffer here at the house for the Tahoe, so I decided to go ahead and clean the car up a little and throw a little bit of buff on it. Still got some smudges on it, but all I've done is just the roof and the hood, because the hood, you know, I have showed you a couple times that the hood has took a pretty big beating. So we're gonna try to basically clean the car up. Now that the wiring is done under the seats, I think all that's done. The seats can be bolted back in on the bottom, and then all me and Mike have to do is we have to build the if you remember right before it went wiring, the backrest pieces, so we have to build them, but the seats can go ahead and be bolted in because we're done with that, man. So finally we can get the seats back in the car. What else? The door bars can be bolted back in, so I don't think they'll need to come back out. Yeah, so we're gonna start doing this, and then still, I think over this week we're gonna come through some of the things. This is what Chris does, is he went through here and, you know, laid out everything for me, so just so that we have it, so we have the inputs and outputs, and then he has everything numbered and everything, so we'll save all that. And then the rest of this is just paperwork that I already had, and then my paper should be in here somewhere right there. No, that's more of Chris's stuff. Yeah, and then that's like my stuff. But I gotta go through and organize them papers, put them all in a safe spot, and that's it. So let's clean up some of this stuff and keep it moving. And then this harness right here was not, let's see here, it looks like it was opened and the plug is gone off of it. So I think what he did, this might actually be both of the harnesses. Yeah, it looks like he stuck both of them together in one box. So this looks like he depinned the stuff that we don't need. I remember he said he called Turbo John. He was like, how many inputs and outputs do you think Courtney needs for his applications, or what do you think I should put in the car? And he got John's opinion and his, and together they came up with like a game plan for like what the car should probably need to be put in. And so he put all of them in, and if you remember, they're in the center console right here. So we have tons, you know, you can see where there's no wires that come out of this side. So we have tons that we're not even using. You know, we're using a couple over here, but we have freaking plenty. You know, we have plenty of extra spots to grow. And he already told me that there was one thing that I was gonna need to add, but not right now. We can get the car together and get it up and running, and we don't have to worry about it right now. So definitely have tons of room to grow, and we didn't need all that. But if we do need it, I'll save these wires because, you know, the ends are already crimped on them, and you could just, Chris can add them. I'm not touching this wiring. I just paid what I paid to get this car wired, and I'm not hacking it up. So we're gonna save this in case Chris needs it in the future. The extra bump button that we had, you should always have a spare in your trailer, because we were in Darlington racing with John, and his stopped working, and so Brian literally cut his out of his car, and we wired it with electrical tape and John's to go on in advance to the next round. So sometimes you might need them, so we will definitely I threw it in here, that little spiral bump block button in the trailer. So I think what I'm gonna do is build a box we're gonna unload this shelf of everything over here that is like doubles or extra stuff that needs to go in the trailer. And we're gonna go ahead and start building us a box to put in this race trailer, so we can start stocking this trailer, because here within the next week or two, hopefully this trailer makes some ground, because I think I'm gonna take the car to headers on an open trailer, just because the enclosed is not quite ready for it to go in there. But when it goes to TKM, that's a 6-hour round trip for me, and on the way back it's gonna be in the middle of the night where I can't see the car on the trailer, so it's definitely gonna go in the box to go to TKM. So we'll have the trailer hopefully fully stocked with extra stuff and everything to go to TKM with it. So you know how you get started on something and then like it goes completely opposite, like somewhere else? It's kind of what it's turned into today. So we got these shelves over here, and I was kind of going through them to see what they look empty now. They were like stacked all up, just like a couple items to put in the box to put in the trailer, and then I was putting, you know, the wiring up that we just went over, and then I started just going through the whole shelf, cleaning it up. So threw away a bunch of stuff in the trash can that we had left over from this build, things that like I ended up not needing, you know, just all kinds of little odds and ends. And then a whole box down here that we're gonna take to a shopping list on our eBay store. I got some factory Maverick stuff in here. So I actually have the original center console out of this 74 Comet that's cardboard. So I'm sure a lot of these do not survive, but this one did. So I'm gonna put it on the eBay store, or if somebody needs it, you can email me. It's in amazing shape, but I don't need the original one. I'm gonna actually take the glove box door, and we'll build probably an aluminum glove box in there for whatever we need, maybe tire, pressure gauge and stuff like that. And then, you know, I have like an extra dash piece that I was going to cut up for the Holly dash, that we're not going to do it now. And then I have all kinds of stuff, man. I've got like seat belts out of the Comet, the original seat belts, and then, you know, like grill mount brackets. So if you have I have a brand new mirror for Ford Maverick Comet bolts. So if you have anything that you're missing on your car that you need, remember, I took a whole Comet apart. I have a whole Ford Maverick outside, and these are street cars, but close to race cars. So we don't need a lot of items. So let me know what you need, and I might have it. I already have a bunch of stuff listed on my eBay store, on eBay itself, but I've got all kinds of stuff in that box that we're gonna list. And then I have I had everything bagged and tagged all the way down to windshield moldings, to the screws. I mean, whenever I first started this car, it was gonna basically rebuild it as like a show car, but I was doing it like correct. So I planned to put every nut and bolt back exactly where it goes, the exact bolts, everything. And as the car was going to get faster and faster and more of it get cut up and plans changed, then that's when hardly nothing got put back on that was original. And then that's when we started putting brand new nuts and bolts on everything instead of necessarily correct original hardware. We started just putting brand new everything on it. So come in the trunk, did a little bit back Chris here. Had the battery just sitting in there, and because I told him I'd hook it up, you know, I didn't expect him to hook the battery up. It was kind of a last minute thing where that battery came in the mail right before I dropped it off. So he just had it sitting in there to pull power to it, and I didn't even realize it, you know, but the terminals were loose and everything. So I went ahead and finalized it out. We put some foam block, you know, here on this side and this side, because the battery is really small, so it can't move like this. And then I just took this real thick solid padding to actually come out of an injector box and put it across the top to put the clamp on. So the clamp is actually upside down, but the battery is pretty much almost touching the rods. It can't move. So this thing is freaking in there. So the battery's good to go. It's in there tight. I'm about to put the lid on the box and seal that up for the first time because I know I shouldn't be going back in there. If I need to charge the battery, what I do is I clamp it to this terminal right here because this wire comes in there to the battery, and then I clamp it to that ground bolt right there because that one goes to the battery. That way I don't actually have to go inside the box. So I thought about the next car I do, I'll probably have some charging ports like you have for the cars that don't have alternators. I'll probably have that just so that you know, it's easy to hook into, but we didn't do that on this car. So I'm gonna keep cleaning and moving through and getting this car towards the end. Yes, your USB plugs into the cable that plugs into the back of your dash. So Chris said that this is where you download like all your run files or, you know, anything like that. I'm sure you could also use this probably to upload different backgrounds to the actual dash, because I know the actual dash you can upload different backgrounds on this one with. And so on that cable, we're actually going to mount this into the dash. So I'm gonna show y'all how to do that on another video. One thing that Devin does is up inside the dash, he has a spot where you can just plug a USB in, so you don't actually have that cable flopping around. So it's a nice little touch. You actually have a port that's in the dash that you plug your laptop cable in. And then what I'll have set up is I got a dual port where you can plug the USB into one for the screen, and then you can plug the laptop cable in right beside it for tuning and stuff like that, messing with your tune. So when it comes in, I just ordered it in the mail. Super simple, super high-end touch that, you know, people like Devin do. They add to cars. Randy's has it. Randy's in love with it, and it's just super basic. So I want to show y'all how to do it yourself. Man, we have tore up this weather stripping in these doors. This is another one. If y'all remember the other side, same way. Got tore all up, man. So that blows. I guess just climbing in and out and working on the car with weather stripping in it. But I'll show you how to do that when it comes in, because it's probably something that you might want to do to your car that will add a little custom touch to. So he's got it. Let's see here. I also need to order a label maker, I guess, because I want to have the labels. So we got the lights back, you know, now that we have a good battery. So it's all the lights in the car. They're on the farthest switch right there. And then let's see here. He said the first one was ignition right there. So let's take this thing out of the way. So there's the dash. So your dash turns on. Everything is disabled right now, of course, because we don't have nothing set up. I guess we can go ahead and pull the protective film off. Look at that. Y'all just witnessed. You witnessed it live. So definitely gonna have to figure out how to change the background. I like that background, but we'll probably put something of like the car, or maybe the CRC logo with a crown or something, who knows. But yeah, everything else is like fuel pumps, water pumps, radiator fan, and trans fan. Can't remember the order. Flip the switch and you'll know exactly what it is. But I need to order a little label maker so that we can go through here and label these, so if anybody else is in the car, they can do it all themselves. So there's that. Let's pop the hood and move forward underneath the hood. Now that I buttoned up back here, just kind of nutting and bolting some stuff. I had two little nuts on the top of the fuel pump thing that needed to be tightened up, so I put some lock washers on them and tighten them up. So I'm just kind of figured, instead of fabricating today and building more stuff, you know, like the little items that we need to do, that we would move forward with everything else. So some people hadn't really they had a few comments about the Zeus style push button fasteners on the hood. So this is what they look like. Again, if you're new to the channel or whatever, you literally just push them down. It's just a little tight right now, of course, because I'm holding the camera. See, you heard that one? It just pops. Normally, I kind of hold the hood up with one hand and push with the other one so it don't spring back down from the weight of the hood. So I'm going to have to put the camera down. But that's all you do, is that right there. Is you do got the weight of the... See, it's hard to do it one-handed. So let me put the camera down. But I just want to show you real fast like that. You just push it. I'd pull up on your panel, push them, and then it just comes right up. Some people have probably seen these laying on the table. I actually pulled these out because I don't know if I want to add these to a trailer or not. I might. Never really used them. So they're fender protectors. You lay them across your fender. So, you know, some people might be like, well, why do you not use them? So here's why I don't use them is if the bottom of them things get one little piece of metal or a little dirt. And what you have done is you have now basically trapped that piece of metal or dirt or rock, whatever it is. I mean, it could be microscopic, but you've trapped it into the foam on the backside. Every time that pad moves, that rock stays in one spot, dirt stays in one spot, metal stays in one spot, and just digs, 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 digs. So if you actually just keep your top of your fenders kind of wiped down and you lean across them, sometimes you'll do less damage than covering them up with actual fender protectors. But if you have clean fender protectors, Harper joined us, oh, she's about to leave. If you have clean fender protectors, then you would actually be better to use your fender protectors. So if you do have them, just make sure they're clean. Car covers are the worst thing you could do to a car in most situations. So a car cover, a lot of times will hold moisture inside of it. So a lot of them will get wet and then they can't really breathe. So then the car actually gets a lot of moisture inside the door jambs and stuff like that because the sun can't really dry it out 100%. So you can actually do a lot of damage to your car by putting a car cover over it. You know, a different kind of damage than you're actually protecting it from. So you're protecting it from one damage, but you're creating a new damage. And then also with having a car cover over it, when the wind blows and the car cover moves, all of the edges of the car, so like edge of the fender, the edge of the trunk, any edges that the car cover is touching, the car cover just, you know, slides back and forth, and it sands it. That's literally what it's doing, is it's sanding your clear coat. When we do a melt or a blend, I have showed y'all on this channel that we use a Trizac 3000. Let me show you what that is. I know you're not gonna be able to feel it or touch it in the video, but I can kind of show it to you and maybe you can get an idea of it. So we actually wet sand with 3000 grit. This is what 3000 grit looks like. Okay, so here's first off, 3M Trizac 3000. Okay, you see that? Watch this. Let's see if I can get it. Okay, it's foam. It's literally foam. This is what 3000 grit looks like, Trizac. This is what we wet sand with when you want to get a real fine finish, okay? If we wet sand with foam, then what do you think your car cover is doing to your paint job? It's messing it up. That's what it's doing, messing it up bad. And you might not notice it over time, but if it, let's say the car sat outside for a couple months and, you know, the wind and it moved it slightly, you could probably go and see all your edges of your car would be dull. So all the edges like this right here, down the whole top would be dull from the car cover moving over, you know, over it. A lot of people don't think about that stuff. The car cover business booms on selling you a product that will protect your car when actually it destroys it. Now, they do have nice car covers that have liner on the inside to not scuff the edges up. But just keep in mind that we wet sand high-end jobs with 3000 grit. 3000 grit is super fine. So if you have a car cover and it has, like I said, one speck of dirt, anything in it, you're doing more damage to your paint than just having a good thick coat of wax, you know, or a good waxing it every however often you want to do it. Having wax on it to protect it and letting dirt blow over it, letting dirt blow off of it, letting the sun bake on it. The wax is what protects it, you know, versus having something sitting there and sliding back and forth. Because imagine if you accidentally put the car up with one microscopic piece of rock or sand on it, threw the car cover over it, and then for months it just sits there and moves, you know. So just kind of something that popped in my head real fast that I figured I'd share with y'all. I'm gonna keep it moving, keep running through all this, keep going.